All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Architecture, and I'm Brian Pape. I'm the co-chair of the Design for Aging Committee, along with Cami Altman, who's right here in the audience, and we appreciate having this event, and just like last year, it was a great program. It's great to see the work that is being done in the schools. So the more we have of those, the better. And we certainly appreciate all the work that the students have done. So I am going to just turn it over to Yutaka and what else do we need to say, huh?
Yeah, welcome to Thank you so much for coming. We're very excited about seeing your projects. As always, the Design for Aging Committee meets once a month, the third Thursday of every month.
That's right.
From 5 to 6:30. So if anybody wants to join to engage in some meaningful discussion about the topic of aging, and design, anyone is welcome.
That's right, either coming here to the center or online.
Online, and you can sign up. There should be, I don't know, Salmata, if there's the QR code somewhere. Yep. Yeah, we can bring down a QR code, and you can do your thing with your phone, whatever it's called, and then enter your name and your email address, and you will be getting notifications for when our events are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that should be good, right?
That's okay. Well, I'm Tanya Branquino, Assistant Chair of Interior Design at Pratt Institute, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the committee for aging at AIA, as well as AIA, for hosting us, and most importantly, thanking Yutaka for taking on this initiative, one that I know started as an academic endeavor at Pratt, but I know that there are plans for it to expand and to be more interdisciplinary, as well as collaborate across different institutes. And we're really excited about that. And although accessibility is very much integrated into our curriculum at Pratt, I know that this is something that students are very interested in. So thank you so much for introducing this course as an advanced way of looking at this real issue. So thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Tanya. And my name is Yutaka Takiura. And just a moment, because I'm checking the timeline, because I'm responsible for that. Okay, that's good. Opening remarks, right? And finish Brian and coming back. Then now it's me. Okay, give me about 5 minutes. So thank you for coming. My name is Yutaka Takiura. I'm an instructor at Pratt Institute and associate professor for quite many years. And thank you for other professors from other institutes coming here. And I want to get connected with everybody. And this is a very important topic. And especially students here, look at them, and that. And they are amazing, just terrific students. And first, before talking about, so I want to talk two things today, right now. Number one is I have to thank whoever dedicated and helped this program, this class. So I have to give some credit to everybody. Then I'm going to talk about what this class was about. Right? So number one, so thank you for AIA New York and AIA New York, everybody, and DFA committee, and Brian and Cami, thank you very much. Next is Pratt Institute, and interior design program hosted this class, and a School of Design basically hosted this this program, and David Foley, who is not here, chair, and Tanya, co-chair right here. And also, this class was a part of Pratt's Sustainability Initiative, and thanks to Tetsu Ohara, professor over there. So thanks to Pratt Institute. Then a few people. Yanyu Yang, who took this class, and amazingly, he presented his house for grandparents. Now it's under construction. And it's going to be built this summer, he said, right? And he came to give us a lecture at the very first day. And that was very inspiring. So he's graduating next week. So thank you to Yanyu. He's not here, but maybe he can watch on a video. And next one is Amber Kao. She graduated from Pratt Design Management a few years ago, and she started her own business in many ways, and event planning and product design and so on. So she came here and talked to us how to start initiative, how to start business and so on. So that was very stimulating story. And next is Amy McPherson. She graduated from Pratt Interior Design Masters 10 years ago. I don't know, some of professors may remember Amy McPherson. She's at the Kimball International Furniture Company, and she's the head of healthcare department. And she is online and give us a talk about interior design and healthcare. And the next is Julia Foster and team from City Harvest. So we visited City Harvest and learned how to deliver excessive food from New York City to people in need of food. And that was also a very inspirational story, especially older generation who doesn't have easy access to food, mobility. So how do we deliver food to those people? That was a question we all thought about. Next is Francis Green and team from NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, New York City. So they came and she came to our class and talked about mental illness and 101. And because we kind of knew, but we didn't know. So her talk was very helpful. And then a couple of people, a couple more, Francis Brunet and Nicole Hurst from Pratt Institute. She's the president, and Nicole is a staff, chief of staff, and she met us, and she talked about how important design is in our society. So that was another inspiring story. And then Darrell Daniels and the team at the Pratt Learning Access Center, and they helped us about accessibility on campus issues. So that's good. Couple more. And Pratt Public Communication team broadcasted this class all over the place, and I got so many contacts from other people. And it's not in our class, but or we know, but Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga, because we looked at their video and we got so inspired about Alzheimer is not the end of life. So how we can communicate with people. That was the beginning of our story. And then one more, Satoshi Takato, my dear friend, who got a spine injury last year and cannot move and got stuck on bed, and he tried to go through those difficult rehabilitation to try to get on foot. But he said, my best bet is maybe wheelchair. But he's young, from childhood friend. But that story inspired me because it could be me, because we had dinner like a year ago. Now he's in bed. So it's not somebody else's story. It's your story, my story. So that's inspiring. And lastly, audience here, thank you very much. And students, of course, you guys are amazing. So that's a thank you note, right? So then let me go into a very quick. So I'm not supposed to read those papers, right? I told you guys not to read, so I'm sorry, but I cannot remember everything. So you pretend you didn't see me, right? So, and next is so about this class contents. So design for aging and beyond, I called it. Right? Then many questions came up, and you guys, students said, oh, that's cool name, cool name, cool name. And then it's about thinking about aging population. Start from there, and then naturally expanded into accessibility and in physical and mental way, accessibility. So they cover those stories. And then, can we design for people who need assistance in design? That's what you're gonna hear today. And can our design impact the society or in general community? That's a question they're working on. And are we responsible for our design? Can we responsible for our design? Because we design something and forget about it most of the time. But design stays forever. So that's very important, right? It's a quick story. For example, I'm an architect in the city, New York based. So I design beautiful house and the interiors and gorgeous kitchen and everything. And take picture, put in magazine and portfolio and website. And then I never get into the house again because they don't want to let me get in. Because they know that. I said, oh, no, that couch should be like 5 inches this way. I said, no, why you put this lamp here? Right? So I start to clean up their house. So I never get into their house. So we, as the designers or architects, we have to think about the users first, because they are the users, not we. So how to forget our ego? That's a theme I have all the time. And the challenging, the most difficult area, aging, our accessibility, because wheelchair design never changed last 70 years, maybe 80 years. So let's think about it. So instead of take it granted that the 5 feet radius is given, can we change it? How about changing wheelchair radius, turning radius? Can we do that? So that's the topic you're gonna see today. And then last thing is I'm gonna talk a little bit, the last thing I'm gonna talk is it's a title of this class, Design for Aging and Beyond. So many times I run into other faculty members on campus, right? Pratt Institute and other schools too, NICED and Columbia and many other schools. Then, oh, what kind of class are you teaching this semester? What's class? And I say, hey, Design for Aging and Beyond. And all the instructors get confused. What, right? And beyond? Then reaction was like, is that about like a 6 feet under or something? So your design is cemetery? Not really. But that's true that because we are designing for people in need of design, right? So, but most of the time we cannot get inside of a graveyard to check out how good it was. So it's part of it. But so then I was interested about this title myself, Design for Aging and Beyond. Then, of course, I asked AI. Right? So prompt was, so what do you think about class title, Aging for Design and Beyond? Question, right? So AI said, the title, Design for Aging and Beyond, suggests a focus on creating environments, products, and systems that cater to the needs and preferences of aging individuals, as well as addressing the broader concept of aging in society. Here are some impressions one might derive from this class title. Number one, holistic approach. And it says tons of details, but number two, inclusive design. Number three, future-oriented perspective. Number four, interdisciplinary collaboration. Number five, social impact. I said, right on, yeah, AI got it. So then the conclusion they said, AI said, overall design for aging and beyond suggests a dynamic and multifaceted exploration of how design can enhance the quality of life for older adults, while also considering the broader implications of an aging population in society. Right? So AI is correct. So far, so good. So I'm not afraid of using AI for now, but you never know. So that's the end of introduction to the class. So how do we do this? So we're gonna see 2 videos first. Then after that, individually, those amazing students will present one by one. And the Q&A maybe towards the end together is better instead of just asking questions. So, or if you want to get questions from audience right away, it's not the school review, so you don't get grades from those people, so don't worry about it. So, okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's go. So, okay.
Hello everyone, my name is Jackie. I'm an interior design student from Pratt Institute in my junior year, and today I'm going to start with my presentation known as Purposeful Retirement. The reason why I'm titling my presentation like that is because I want to prove that once we're retired or people that are in their retired age can still find some purpose in life and can still contribute to society. First of all, I would like to start with my content page. I will go through the definition of retirement and some analysis towards it. Then I will propose my idea and the concern related to my topic. And then finally, I'll show the results, or better say, the benefits after completing our program. Retirement refers to the time of life when one chooses to permanently leave their workforces behind. Normally, this age is around 60. Some data related to retirement can be workers that are 65 years old and over are also working longer hours and making more money than they were in the past. So there's 48% of people are not retiring because of finances reasons. 40% of people are forced to retire, and 5 to 9% increase in mental health or physical health conditions after retiring. A country that has the highest retirement age is the United States, along with Germany and other countries. That's 67 years old, and the one that has the lowest rate is 47 years old from Saudi Arabia. The other graph shows the percentage of people that are retired in the U.S. So there's an existing problem of a large retired population, which is expected to increase, requires addressing the imbalance in population across all age groups. So that means that the number of retired people is much larger than the younger generation. The reason why I stated all those data is because I want to prove that retirement is not equal to not able to work. The age for retirement is only a guide to say that after this, you probably can rest more or do things you prefer. So some examples of people that are still working after their retirement, other than famous people, we have a percentage. So there's 19% of the retired people are still working in the US. So these data still proves the fact that after retirement, you can still work. To talk about the purpose about my project, I would like to start with this quote. Often when you think you are at the end of something, you are at the beginning of something else by Fred Rogers. Now I'd like to go into details on how this program can be made. So the main functions of this program is to find some jobs, or better say hobbies, for the older people once they are retired. So as we see in the diagram, it can be in a physical location or online platform, and I will specify that afterwards. But it's mainly to join them again with the society and prevent them from feeling isolated from other people. We're dividing it into two different sides. One is the volunteering side. So the volunteering can be divided up into long-term and short-term. For the long-term volunteering, we can find things such as child care or other care, such as going to hospitals or just simply talking to people that need someone to express themselves, such as counseling. And then for the short term, it could be planting trees or um, other short terms volunteerings that other programs may propose, such as when we went to City Harvest, they said that they needed volunteerings to pack their fruits. So that could be an example too. The finding money side is mainly for the people that want to work but at the same time earn some money for themselves. Because as we're concerned, is that for most of the people that are after retirement, they do not gain as much money as before, and for the earnings they have, it's probably not enough for them to spend it on things that they like, and divide it up into long term and short term. The long term programs we have to earn money can be acting, concept cafeterias, and other shops. And for the short term, it could be storytelling and others that I'll specify afterwards. How this organization will function is that we will have some physical locations where we can borrow the space from churches, community areas, and other spaces to join everyone together and work together. And the way this is going to be spread out, so inform the old people or the older generation, is by contacting local clinics neighborhood libraries, community services, and churches and other communities so that they can spread this information. So if they see that anyone needs help or needs a job or they can contact this organization and they can work together. The online platform will primarily target the younger generation for advertising. So the younger generation will go advise their older family members and tell them about this program and actually inform them about how this can be worked. This online platform will be easy to log in so that the older people can easily understand and go through the entire process and also find their job over there. So, other than having just the login and other things, the plan is to have an AI generated voiceover. So, once you click over the words, there will be like a tutorial coming out explaining how everything will process so that it's more friendly. Under I'm proposing some jobs for older people when younger people can do the same. This is because there are some jobs that only older people can do, except for all the necessities they have to include themselves into society. So, some of the jobs could include design and fashion for older people. Currently, the designs we have right now are more likely to be towards the younger generation, especially talking about fashion, the clothes are mainly towards them. So it means that once I'm over 65 and I want something that's comfortable and pretty at the same time, it would be really hard to find. So why don't we let the ones that actually know their needs to design their own clothes? That would be a proposal. The second proposal is storytelling. That would include talking towards the people that have creation needs. So if there's anyone that's a novel writer or a game designer, then they need some inspiration, they can talk to the other people. Then the third one, which is I think the most important one, is cultural heritage and craftsmanship. Because the older generation, they have a lot of craftsmanship that they've learned from their parents, such as knitting, bakeries, cooking, or other more popular. Also, this can be shown in different ways. So we have acting, filmmaking, and radio that can be provided towards the older generation. Um, People above their 65, it would be hard to find some images or pictures about them, or it's an age where you don't take that much selfies anymore, or you don't record yourself anymore. So this would be a way to remember them, to make them create their own history and also story, and also allow their younger family members to remember, oh, my grandparents were like this, or oh, look at their acting skills and things like that. So this would be an interaction between different age groups, but at the same time that could provide other people help and also entertainment. I would like to summarize some benefits for participating in this program. Also, this emphasizes the importance of having such organizations that focuses on retired people and care about them. So they would have additional financial security. This means that they will have another source of income. Also, this will keep people mentally sharp, physically active, and socially connected. As many studies prove, when we think a lot or when our brain keeps functioning, it helps us to keep our memories. So this will help with some is like prevent some mental illnesses such as dementia and social activity. So this will keep them entertained with contacting with other age groups and talking with society. So preventing them from feeling isolated. So improve their cognitive engagement will mean that they can contribute some to the society, such as like teaching or giving some information or the other jobs I've mentioned before. All of those contribute towards the society. Finally, the morality of work. There are some companies that are afraid that they hire people over their 60s because they think that okay, they're older people, we probably need to take care about them. There's so many moralities related to this topic, and in our case, wouldn't happen because we have older people that are completely volunteering, and it's also beneficial for themselves. Thanks everyone for listening to my presentation. It's been a pity that I wasn't there in person. I hope to see everyone next time. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Shijia. I'm a junior interior design major student at Pratt. Today I'm going to introduce my project from our class. Um, so we can see my design project is a maternity center based in Senegal that starts from a conversation between Sarah and Bianca. Sarah is a 29 years old expectant mother who lives with Bianca in a village in southern Senegal. Bianca is a 69 years old housewife. Sarah is about to give a labor in 2 months. She's asking Bianca for advice. Bianca also has gynecological problems. They're having trouble looking for a economic and convenient maternity center. Senegal is a country in the westernmost part of Africa. It is one of the most stable countries in Africa. Despite its economic progress, Senegal still faces challenges such as poverty, unemployment, and environmental issues. Senegal faces a very serious shortage of gynecological care. There are only 7 doctors for every 100,000 citizens, and 32% of the rural population has no access to healthcare at all. Senegal's fertility rate is much higher than desired. Many women do not have good access to healthcare. The accessible maternity centers are too far away for women in southern village in Senegal to get to. Most of their family cannot afford their cost. This is a diagram of the mortality of pregnant women around the world. Pregnancy and giving birth are always a crucial challenge in the lives of women in sub-Saharan Africa. The darker and warmer colors represent higher mortality. Senegal has a relative higher pregnant women mortality rate. Every year, more than 200,000 women loses their life due to lack of adequate sanitation and basic care during pregnancy and childbirth. This issue is often the result of complications that could be prevented or treated with access to basic medical care. I don't even know giving labor is so dangerous. I think I should contact my doctor. Mother never tell their daughters about how suffering it is during pregnancy. 70% of women don't go to the doctor until a few days before they go into labor. 35% of women are aware of the health risks associated with unassisted labor and delivery. 92% of women continue to do during and after pregnancy household chores, and there would be more women that need help after giving birth. So, my goal is to design a maternity center to serve women in need of gynecological examinations in the rural areas. This medical center has medical staff with scientific knowledge of care, highly hygienic nursing wards, and the birth environment. This is not just a maternity center. It is more than that. The program will extend to not only services for expectant mothers, but also for all the women, at all ages, like Bianca we've mentioned, in the neighborhood that needs help. That's how this project achieved a design for aging and beyond. In this project, I hope this healthcare program can improve gender and resources equalities through providing people with more chances to get more gender-focused medical resources. Also, the program helps people to easily get help. Additionally, I would like to build trust between doctors and patients, which I think is pretty crucial for promotion of feminine care. Here's how this maternity center can benefit women in this community. We have a system of access to medical care, a more efficient medical experience. We also would reduce unnecessary costs, increasing the trustworthiness of the science-based healthcare. We will focus on increasing the trust and improve the connection between doctors and patients. I listed a few short-term and long-term strategies. The short-term strategies are more easy to achieve in a short period of time. There are school education activities, mental health care, and job opportunities, and long-term goals like improving local healthcare conditions and care for aging and female health. The lack of education, which affects more than 60% of women, hampers their chances acquiring knowledges about good hygiene practices and the risks of early pregnancy and unassisted childbirth. It is very important to teach children and next generation proper healthcare knowledge during their development, especially those in poor areas. Maternity centers regularly visit local schools to conduct health talks and activities so that students can learn to take care of and protect themselves during talks and games, to seek medical attention if needed. Postpartum depression is a very important issue to take into account when caring for a woman as well as in the process of postpartum restoration. As many local pregnant women continue to perform housework and care for multiple children after giving birth, the physical and mental stresses are more likely to lead postpartum depression. Maternity center also provides psychological help, such as mental therapy. Due to the scarcity of healthcare resources, nursing staff is also more scarce. The maternity center provides jobs to the local population, such as nursing as well as cleaning and simple assistance. These jobs provide an economic resource for local women and provides gender equality in the area. The maternity center also treats gynecological problems of aged women, since many aged women do not receive proper postnatal care after giving birth. They are more possible to recurring gynecological problems as their body function deteriorates. The maternity center provides care for aged women to help them resolve their gynecological problems. Now, let's move to the spatial design part. I analyzed the stages that women might experience during their lives. They might go through prenatal, delivery, postnatal care, and aging care. Taking from 4 stages, I divide the space into 3 main parts of the medical care: diagnosis, operation, and rehabilitation. Here are some rendering images of the maternity center. The material choices focus on the local accessible materials like broken tiles, clay, and wood. As an interior design student, I'm always looking for the ways to incorporate my own advocacy of gender issues into my design work. This medical center focusing on women's health is crucial to the development of the area. While focusing on primary care, it also focuses on the well-being of women in this area. Space is a figurative concept, but the perception it creates is abstract and large. Creating such a woman's space in such a traditionally conservative area was certainly a challenge. At the same time, it is also a shock to the local culture. I thought about how to comfortably integrate this culture into the local environment and create a safe, healthy environment for women to meet their basic medical needs.
So those two are already at the end of semester. They're traveling already, going home and Barcelona or somewhere. So nice. But so thank you for those two. And now, Ria.
So thank you for having us here, and I'm Ariel, and my topic in my project is about the Nanjichang Community Prosperity Space. So first about the design location, it is at the Nanjichang community in Taipei, Taiwan, where I'm come from. And I try to explore the contrast between both the community and the neighbor communities. So you can see that is with a huge contrast between them, and it makes me think about how to achieve community development through design. So the Nanjichang community was once prosperous, but now it's an old community facing urban renewal. But it is also famous for its night market, and the community has a high proportion of elderly living alone, and disadvantages children and a high unemployment rate. So from the research and data analysis, it can be concluded that both the community and its residents are aging. And from, let's look at the location of the site in practical terms. And it is situated between the night market and the community, so it's serving as like a connection between it. And it is a linear space. And also the front of the site lacks sunlight. And from the above, I have summarized like few key areas for improvement and focusing on engaging people together and connecting cultures, enhancing seniors' quality of life, and also assisting disadvantaged families and reducing food waste. And this will be achieved through the combination of people, food, and culture. So basically from like space and system design, I try to improve these problems. And this will be accomplished through the design of including those few elements, which is multifunction space, the story wall, the food bank, sharing fridge, and also the leftover food meals. So actually, this is more like a proposal than like a very specific design. And in this linear space, all area serves the residents and the visitors, and aiming to break boundaries. There will be inclusive restaurants with open entrance, and also corridors serving as an exhibition area, and a multifunctional space, and a food bank. So the corridor as the main pathways for residents and visitors to enter and exit the community, and also using the facilities. This will showcase community activities or works of local artists, and waiting areas will also regularly have health observation stations. And for the multifunctional area, this will provide a space for seniors to gather at round tables for meals daily, and also visitors can also enjoy meals here. And this area will also create job opportunities and provide employment assistance. And at other times, community events can also be held over here. And for the food bank is another important feature, and this will help reduce food waste and solving other problems. So one of the function is the food bank itself, and it allow those in need to obtain what they required with dignity. And all the items that are donated by contributors will be collected, sorted, and also shelved. So residents can use points to exchange for goods and allowing them to obtain supplies in a shopping-like manner. The second function is the sharing fridge, which is focusing on food recycling. And it is aimed at the general public and primarily providing neatly organized and unexpired overnight bread for free to reduce food waste. And the third function is the leftover food meals. So to transforming the foods that should be waste into like meals for others to have. And so meals for seniors and the general public will be prepared in the kitchen, which will also provide meal delivery services for the elderly. And finally, there's the story wall, which not only complements the community's existing wall, but also promotes the community's history and culture. And actually, as you can tell, these are the photos that how Nanjichang actually look like. So above are how like the buildings over there look like, and the bottom two are the night market. So to increase the usable space, the residents actually, they will add illegal structures and extensions over the building, but it also makes the community's appearance unique. And so this is the idea of the story wall, which having a bench and a grid system to echoes the architectural features of the Nanjichang. In the light box with the historical photos and information on it. And I try to make it to promote storytelling and also highlighting the regional history and culture. And during the day, the story wall will echo the architectural features of the Nanjichang area, and also can allow people to have a glimpse through the grids to get into the space itself. And at night, the light box on the story wall illuminate and also create like a focus at the end of the night market. And here are some references. Thank you.
so just I have to make, go ahead. So this class is an elective class. It's not studio or thesis or anything. So all of them worked on studio and thesis and other capstone, whatever, those big things. So I really, as I say, appreciate how much they did this semester. And many of you guys are undergrad too, third year, which is junior, right? So only 2 years into this profession thing. So I'm not only impressed, but it's like embarrassing because, okay, what did you do last 20, 30 years? So, so you guys are amazing, that's what I say. And we were in Senegal. Oh, by the way, everything is up to them. I didn't say you should do this, we should do that. It's their idea. So now, so whatever they did, it's just, it's amazing whatever you do. So now Senegal and Taiwan, Taipei, and next Bella, you're up, and we are in Korea next. Yeah. So her flight is waiting.
Wait, do I get to control?
It's just the next slide.
It's just next slide? Okay. How do you make this a full screen?
Control L.
Control L. Okay. Hello. My name is Bella, and I'm junior undergrad in interior design program. And I just want to thank AIA for hosting this event, and also our amazing professor there, Yutaka, for setting up the groundwork. So I'm going to be presenting my research about the obsessions in South Korea. And these are quite serious issues, I believe, in my country. So I'm going to be looking at the two issues in Korea, which are the beauty sickness and also the obsession towards the successful life. Then I'll go over some researches that I did and also my proposal towards the end. So my proposal is going to be located in South Korea, targeting young adults from age 16 to 25, and also some of their parents. So looking at the first obsession issues, does anybody in this room ever heard about this term beauty sickness? Anybody? Or if anybody here is in Korean, it's called 외모지상주의. Anybody? Okay, I guess not. But it kind of means that it's this extreme obsession towards beauty and your appearance that directs cognitive, financial, and emotional resources away from any other goals in your life. So your life is basically just about how you look to other people. And it is true that Korea has been doing so well in the beauty industry about the skin products, the fashion, the K-pop idols, but I'm going to be talking about the opposite side of that story. It's about the story living in a country where beauty standards are so high, and the obsession over the appearances are embedded deeply in our culture. So this study conducted by the institution called Brain shares the response of young adults in Korea to the question of how much should you care about your appearance. And 4% said no opinion, 9.4% said it doesn't matter, but 86.6% of young adults said beauty matters in their life. And beauty here is referring to your body, your hair, your fashion. It's not really about what's going on inside of you, but outside of you. Next chart here is the ideal weight chart. And these are lists of heights and the ideal weights for each height to be in the ideal fit in Korea. So from my personal experience with my Korean friends who are actually living in Korea, this chart to them is like the Holy Bible. They swear by this chart. And they're on constant diet trying to fit under these numbers. So let's look at one of the examples. So if 165 centimeters should weigh under 50.4 kilograms. I think in feet that's about 5 feet 5 inches. You have to weigh under 110 pounds. So you're severely underweight. But this is the ideal type that Korean people swear by. And it's common to see online people referencing this chart and asking the question of why am I so fat? Let's look at another issue here that this is actually the reason why I decided to explore this issue, because it was during the post-COVID era. And there was this little movement within the students in Korea where they said, yes, no mask, yes mask and no lunch, which means that they gave up on their lunch because they wanted to keep their masks on their face. The reason was that they did not want to show their face to any other peers in their school. They choose hunger over showing their face to any other people, and this is kind of an example of how extreme this issue has gotten in my country. And then the second issue of obsession is obsession towards successful life, which is often measured in how much money you have, what school you went to, and also what kind of job you have. So the first step to be successful in Korea is that you need to get into good college. So this chart here shows the OECD countries' average study hours among the young adults. So in England, young adults study about 3 hours and 49 minutes daily. In US, 5 hours and 4 minutes. Then in Japan, 5 hours and 21 minutes. But in Korea, young adults study about 7 hours and 50 minutes a day. And by the way, this is in addition to the school hours. So they spend more than half of their day studying and preparing for this exam that they need to take to get into good school. The next chart here shows how most of Korean students spend their time. So here the media is about 24.1%, and the study is about 20%. But I'm going to point out here that the media is mostly about inkang in Korea, which translates to internet lectures. So that counts as media, but it's also, but it's more about the study that you get from watching those lectures online. On the other hand, there's about 1.3% of students actually exercising, which is very unfortunate. So, and by comparing these two obsession issues, I kind of came up with one curiosity about why is no one addressing the problem about their health? If it's that important to be skinny, with beautiful skin and amazing hair, but no one is actually considering anything about the actual health of their body. And also the same with the obsession to the successful life. They're spending hours and hours sitting in front of the desk trying to get a good score for that exam, but no one is actually talking about their health and exercising. So comparing the obesity level within young adults in Korea, there's about 26.4% obesity issue within young adult males, and the lighter green is the number for the female, which is over, it's also interesting to note here because the average for the male worldwide was 22.2, so Korea has more obese males in overall within the young adults, but severely less in the female category because the average for the female was around 20%. And here is my proposal. So the proposal is called Miro, not like the app Miro, but it's more like a maze in Korean. It's called Miro, which is a private gym service made for insecure and unhealthy young adults in Korea to have private trainer to help to shape a better life and healthier life. So the goal here is to provide them a private workout space so that people with beauty insecurities, those who cannot go to the gym without a makeup, can have freedom to work out without their makeup and without any feeling any social pressure about not wearing makeup and wearing leggings. And also professional personal trainers who can help them to shape better schedule and workout routine and personalized schedules based on their current body status. So this model, Miro, will help young adults who are struggling with these two issues and dilemmas of beauty and successful life to think about the essential qualities in their life. So the design of the space is still a little conceptual, but it echoes this shape of maze so that the circulation doesn't overlap, but people can still get their workout following like the routines that are developed by the facility. So you enter through red, you go through the pathway of the red, then you enter, exit the room. Then you can, of course, do another session following the yellow circulation as well. And these are just iterations of AI generation of the space. So it's kind of this narrow, long pathway of workout space. And I'm also proposing an app that can be used in this space. So the app will only be activated when you scan the QR code at the entrance of the door when you start the workout, or when you want to lock the door to start the workout. So what do you need this app? Because this app is used like a journal entry for people. Most like how Instagram is now for us is kind of keeping that record of where we went, what we did, and how we spent time, but it's going to happen on this specific app for this gym facility. But it will be private, and it will only be shareable within yourself and your personal trainer. So after you scan the QR code, it'll direct you to the sign-in page where you just enter in your username and password, and to the home screen. So there's journal, schedule, timer, saved, and contact page. So starting with the journal, you can either choose to type or voice record whatever you're doing in that room. You can just say, oh, I just lifted like a 50-pound dumbbell. Just record that. Just anything. Or like, oh, I'm craving for some pizza. Anything. But it'll be private and no one will be able to access it at all. And going on to the context, you can always reach out to your trainer and ask for advices, or you can invite him to the session that you're doing in this facility. And also moving on to the reservations, you can pick out the dates that you want, also consult with your trainer which type of exercise routines you should do, so you can choose either red, yellow, or purple, or any color this facility will have. And this is saved zone, where you can post pictures, but it's different from Instagram because only you can see it. This is from my personal experience because I'm also part of the insecure Asian community, where I am very insecure about posting the pictures that are not perfect. So my Instagram doesn't have any posts. It has 0 posts and 0 comments or 0 stories. So this is kind of reflecting my own experience where I can have a space where I can post things, but only I can see it, or also only the people that I share to see it. And the next one is just a timer for your workout. So as you scan the QR code on your way out to out of the gym, the app will be automatically locked, so you can't access it from outside of the gym. And you can see her face that she's happy and done with her workout. But I am aware that the issues like this is deeply rooted in our culture, and it's very difficult to change or even address it in a public way. However, this model, Miro, the maze, like its name, will help people to find their way into realizing their true values and gain better control of daily lives towards the healthier lifestyle. That's it.
in this area of getting to interactive design. So next is who is this? Amy. From here, more program, not a space, more interactive design side. So Amy, take it away.
So just give me a second to see how this will work. Okay. Great. So hi everyone, I'm Amy, and I'm a junior student in interior design department from Pratt Institute. And what is happening right now? Okay, hopefully this will last until the end of my presentation. Okay, but I'm just gonna start. So today I am going to propose a educational program that's specifically targeting the needs for senior within New York City. And let's just begin with a chart. So this chart is named the old age population from 65 years and older in the total US population from 1950 towards a prediction to 2050. And as we can see the growth of this graph, we can came up with a result of New York's population is aging, and how can we deal with this issue? Let's look at an example cases to further develop into this issue. So Granny Lynn, who has a son in San Diego and a daughter in Boston, has just moved to live with her children in order to help to raise her 5 grandchildren. And now as they are growing independent, Granny Lynn is facing an issue of how she finds herself longing for companionship and a sense of community. Despite being surrounded by her family, the isolation she feels is profound. She yearns for a space where she can connect with others and feel a sense of belongings. So, therefore, I am proposing a program that seeks to fill this gap, offering seniors like Granny Lynn an opportunity to engage, to learn, and to thrive within the supportive community. And simply looking at this case study, I would like to kind of summarize up some of the issues that the older adults are facing right now, no matter in New York City or all over the world. So anxiety, depression, loneliness, they all are targeting toward, it was because of social isolation. And how is social isolation being created? It's about technological gap. So as like our technology are advancing right now, so the senior are no longer being able to catch up with some of those fancy apps or like, for example, VRs that's being created right now with the technology. So therefore, they're creating a gap with the younger generation who are obsessed with like video games and technology. And therefore, a generation gap was being created. And the older adults are facing loneliness and also adjustment disorder. And therefore, looking at all of these issues, I would like to do something for these elder adults. Therefore, I am proposing a program that's targeting their needs. As we can see from this conceptual diagram, so basically, on the right side, we can see are just adults that looks very lonely. And on the other side is what I am proposing. As we can see, older adults that's wearing graduation gowns, which means they're going into the school again, and how they're developing their own friend group and their own hobbies. And to look this more specifically, let's look at a mind map. So my design proposal is for a senior education organization or a senior college targeting the unique need of seniors in New York, where such programs are very rare or non-existent. I plan to collaborate with existing universities and colleges, requesting the use of their classroom and resource while offering this program for the seniors. This approach is budget-friendly and at the same time allowing seniors to have a realistic experience of being part of the school community and to interact with one another. Moreover, since the university already have a complete educational system, it will be easier to develop collaboration. And my program goals. So this program serves the diverse interests for the elderly, helping them to stay connected with the evolving world. This program is built on providing emotional and practical support, creating a nurturing environment where seniors can access customized resource and guidance, and emphasize the holistic approach for health, incorporating activities that enhance mental, physical, and emotional well-being, thereby improving the overall quality of life. Moreover, it fosters a sense of community, encouraging seniors to connect, share experience, and actively participate in group activities, combating isolation and enriching their life through continuous learning and social interaction. And simply looking at this program goals, let's make it more specific. So what more could we do, and what are some specialized features can make this program more realistic, and what are the benefits of this program? So I'm also promoting a feature that's named mobility, which is helping to enhance the accessibility and innovation, focusing on improving the access to the educational center for the seniors within our program. And at the same time, the mobility can help to ensure seniors have enhanced mobility to engage with the educational opportunities and making the educational access available beyond the traditional and physical geological limitations. As we can know, some of the seniors might face issue with accessibility, and therefore this might be an issue that's banning them from going into interact with others and also go into our program. So what can we do is that we're offering this like school bus program that's helping them to transport to the educational program. And what else? Temporary dorming. So recognizing the unique challenge faced by the seniors in our educational program, particularly those who are unable to return home on the same day due to distance or health reasons, we also propose the creation of temporary dormitory accommodation. This initiative aims to transform nearby facilities such as community centers or unused spaces within our partner institution into comfortable, safe, and accessible temporary homes equipped with essential amenities. And this operation of these dormitories will include a reservation system and a nominal need-based fee structure to ensure sustainability and accessibility. This comprehensive approach not only supports the educational pursuits of seniors, but fosters a supportive community environment, enriching their overall experience and well-being within the program. Moreover, volunteer teaching. To further enrich our senior educational program and foster intergenerational connection, we propose the introduction of volunteer program that engage current university students and instructor and mentor for seniors. This initiative not only provides valuable teaching experience and community service opportunities for the students that's participating in the volunteer program, but at the same time, it offers the seniors a more dynamic learning environment where they can benefit from fresh perspective and the last knowledge. By pairing seniors with enthusiastic students, volunteers, we aim to create a manually beneficial exchange. Senior can gain insight into more contemporary subjects, while students at the same time develop patience, communication skill, and a deeper appreciation for lifelong learning. So, looking at all of these specialized features and also the program, and that came up into the final question about what's good and what can the senior benefits from this program. So this educational program is designed to meet the crucial needs among seniors, where it can benefit them from knowledge recharging, where they're learning the more, for example, they're learning their new, maybe the technologies, and they can broaden their social interactions, where at the same time, while they're going into the program, they can make new friends of the similar ages or like-minded individuals and people who share the same hobbies. And talking about hobbies, this program also helps them to unearth interests and ignite passions where they can develop the field where they are truly interested, and at the same time, they can be more independent in a way that's developing their own interests. At the same time, this program can help to boost the physical and mental pleasure for the seniors. Thus, in a way, as they are growing their learning and education within different fields, they can reduce the burden between their family members and other people within the program. And that came up with the result of how this program can help them delay aging in a way that they're mentally feeling more energized because they're developing a community, and at the same time they have more of the freedom to have their more life and more of the independent life, and at the same time giving their children the freedom to focus on their own life and work. So in a way, it's like a win-win situation that can help both the parents of the older adults and also the older adults develop their own interests. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Today I'm going to introduce my inclusive project, which
Just
is
hold on. She is one of a interactive design.
interactive arts. Yes.
Major,
Yeah.
not architecture, interior design. So just pay attention, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Which name is Shafmi. So firstly, brief introduce myself. So I'm an artist and also designer, and right now I'm a interactive art student from Pratt Institute, and also a current candidate for human-centered design engineering. And for youth project, I actually developed a platform which called Art Us, which connect the emerging artists with the local business to exhibit, sell, and tell their artwork stories, and trying to sell their work through the web design, AR, and also the virtual galleries. So for the overview, here is my design non-linear process. So all the things start with research, going to the synthesize, edit, design, back to the research, and finally the evaluate and delivery is the card game. For the background, teaching allergy to children is really hard. It's like a right two-side problem. The children who have allergies, they have to understand the risk of the allergy and trying to avoid allergens. But also, on the other hand, for the children, they don't have the allergies. They have to understand and trying to respect each other's health conditions. So the initial design questions I raised was very simple. How might we educate children about their food allergies? So I started with the research. I tried to using the social listening, desk research, and also interview with parents to know how do parents educate, what's their goals, what are the methods, and what are the results. And here are some quotes from the research questions. I tried to come up with some educate-related questions, like think about experience where you're trying to teach your child about protecting themselves from the food allergies. And also, what do you want your children to be able to do? What goals and results do you expect for your child's food allergies? And here are some findings. So one participant said that we want him to understand without feeling overwhelmed. It is difficult for parents to know how much and how deeply to educate their children. And also another participant said that we use apps such as Booking and Fee when shopping, which help us to identify if there's any allergens in the products. In the below picture that you can see there's some like non-cost reward system and some like game and this app to help parents to identify the food with allergens. But those extreme measures are mostly designed for parents, but not for the kids. And also, we have the goals from the parents. They want their children to be able to independently identify risk and manage their own health. And the need for additional attention is to the psychological aspects of the child and the parents beyond the use of education so that the children is aware of the seriousness of the allergy but not the horror of the situation. Difficulty is not about teaching them the risk, because most of the children, they've already learned it the hard way, but how to take precaution in their everyday lives and live with it independently, especially how to communicate with others. So it's related to my personal experience. When I was a child, my grandma thought I just didn't like peanuts, and she encouraged me to try more, thinking that eating more would help me overcome the allergy. However, allergies are actually incurable conditions. So for a long time, I didn't want to talk about my allergies because I feel embarrassed and uneasy. And my younger brother also faced the similar allergy issues, and as a child, it is hard for him to speak up for himself. Also, a research report from the CNN, a recent study reports that almost like 35% of the children over the age of 5 with the food allergies have experienced bullying, often due to their food restriction. And this study sheds light on the needs for increased awareness and intervention to address bullying related to food allergies in school. Here's the synthesis. how can I design for children to learn to talk about their food limits? At the same time, it will help the other kids understand that food allergies as a sickness. With the new How My Way, I start with a persona. So the boy, which named Ronnie, with food limits, allergic to broad bean, and he's 5 years old, and here's a story about him. So one time during kindergarten picnic, Ronnie's friends wanted to share food with him. Ronnie, do you want to eat this? I can share it with you. And Ronnie wants to know if it's contained broad bean, but he didn't know how to ask. He thought it might be implied to refuse others' food, so he ate it, but he immediately developed a rash. So for Ronnie's personality, he is more like introvert person and cannot organize very well, and more like a passive learner and trying to curious of everything but shy to talk. So here are the stakeholder map. So with the most impact with Ronnie is actually his friends, teacher from school, and his parents. Based on those, I developed the ideation with the Crazy 8. I tried to apply some, like, you can see the AR effects or some toy look like first aid box, but I finally choose this one, the card game. So it's more like a trading role-playing game, so I think might be suitable for the child to play with every day. So I started the research with the game for children. So most of the game for children, they are focused on the visual effects. They mostly use the color, shape instead of words. And parents also can provide guidance as the children's side. And the game is not a one-time game, and it also needs multiplayer to interact with. Therefore, I developed this prototype, which is like a role-playing card game. They have two cards for the role. One kid playing the customer, and the other playing the chef. Also, they have the allergens card that you can see here. That only one side to showing like the allergens, and also they have the food card. So the food cards have two sides. One side is showing the food, and the other side will showing some potential allergens maybe contained inside. So here are the rules and user flow. So the customer, they will first join a card as allergen. So right now, if I playing with the customer, I draw the milk as my allergen, and as a shelf, the kids will draw 5 cards as recipe, and the customer will talk about the allergens, like, oh, I am allergic to the milk, so if you cook the food, can you like avoid those? So the chef will choose the food to cook and trying to offer the food to the customer, and the customer will right now decide to eat or not eat, or talk more about with the chef to communicate with their food restriction, and then enjoy the food. In end of the game, they flip the card. So if they have like any allergens contained inside, the customer will send to the ambulance immediately, and then those two switch the roles. But if like the customer eats the right food, they will just like keep playing this game. So after creating the interactive prototype, I conduct a scenario-based usability test with 2 families, and here is one recording from the prototype test. Oh. Should I allow it? So can I switch to the video? Oh yes, this one.
欢迎来到我们小红餐厅。请问您是第一次来到我们餐厅就餐吗？是。我是今天的主厨叶子，很荣幸能为您服务。请问您对哪些食物会过敏呢？
我对花生过敏。
哦，好的，请稍等。 您点的餐来了，
谢谢。
请慢用。好，我们来看一下。哦，花生，你的。来。好嘞，好，好嘞。
Okay. Can we switch back to the presentation part? Okay. Can we do full screen? Is it available to do full screen? Okay.
Control M.
Oh, I don't know. Control Alt? Okay. So here are some findings after the usability test. First is the cartoon style food is hard to identify in real life. So our iteration is that trying to using the actual image of the food so that the children when they playing, they're actually trying to identify the real food. And the second part is that you can see in the usability testing, parents can actually try to practice the first aid step, help them to practice what do when they encounter the kid's allergic reaction. And third part is really tricky because like I found that the kids always enjoying the ambulance staff. They may deliberately trying to not to communicate with the chef so that they can enjoy like going to the ambulance staff. So my iteration is that when the food is ready, the parents act as a guidance, trying to encourage the child to take active to communicate. So I also want to including a reward system in that so that the children will get more cards when they successfully avoid risk so that the children are willing to trying to communicate with the chef when they like eating the food. And you can see in this picture, the child also using like this two cards trying to parent them. So it's not only a game, but also the child can trying to learn those food with its allergens when playing. So takeaway for this project, speak up for children is important. In the process of interviewing parents, I found that many parents thought they were satisfied with their children's education, but when I asked them how they define successful allergy education, many parents did not know how to answer because it was based on their concept, not the children's idea. Many parents pay attention to the danger part. They successfully educate children through words, picture, etc. to fear allergies. But how to let children have the courage to communicate with others and treat their health correctly. This is more important than fear. So chef me, children can communicate competently and actively. The cook, eat, and ambulance part can connect allergies with their life and their toys. As you can see in the video, they can actually like play different parts with their own toys and make more children willing to participate in the game. We often ignore children's feelings because we take parents' voice as children's voice for granted. But in fact, as inclusive designer, we need to speak up for them, help children find needs, express needs, and transform those problems into design opportunity. Thank you.
my name is Eve Kaufman. I'm an Mark 1 candidate finishing up this semester. Just handed my last assignment last night. And I wanted to thank all of you for coming and for hosting, and of course Utaka for being an amazing professor this semester. And finally, I also just wanted to say I'm really excited to be back here because I came to a session over the summer for DFA. I saw some presentations that really inspired me. And so when I saw that this class was being offered at Pratt, I got really excited and just jumped on it as I saw it. So essentially, what we're going to start out with is talking about hoarding as an issue, as a mental health issue, and how that actually impacts older generations more than younger generations, but it does proceed over time and becomes a bigger issue. So the way that I actually started finding interest in this topic was because becoming a soon-to-be graduate, I was asked to redesign the house for accessibility purposes because it's a split-level ranch. And you know, the client's knees are weak and they wanted like really something that could help them navigate the house itself from like a structural standpoint. But upon entering, these are not the real photos from the house. You know, on my site visit, just for like privacy purposes, I use stock photos. The accessibility issues went far beyond the actual structure of the house. It was difficult to navigate for them because of the hoarding that had taken place over the years of them being isolated, and this would particularly be impactful in exurbs and suburbs where there's more isolation and people tend to accumulate more things because they start prioritizing things over relationships when people pass, when their friends move away, when their children move away, and they get older and they no longer have these connections to keep them fulfilled. So they begin assigning importance to objects, which in our contemporary society is a huge problem because you can keep ordering more online, you keep collecting, and then what do you do with it all? So truly, it's not even just older generations that this impacts. It's fast fashion. It's just the need to collect, and then what do you do with the stuff? So in some research, in a sample of 8 to older adults, the highest level symptom severity was in the 50 to 60 year age range, which is not even that old. It's like pretty much middle-aged, and it just continues on and progresses to a much worse state after that. And this, of course, as I said earlier, is impacted and kind of compounds as they become more and more isolated. So it's a serious mental health crisis in older adults. So how can the community intervene? And, you know, it's up until now kind of seen as a character flaw. It is seen as something that they can't take care of themselves. It's seen as very problematic and not as a mental health issue. It's not treated that way. So what needs to be done is that people need to accept it. They need to interact more. They need to take on their personal responsibility. In my first slide, I noted that it is an intergenerational effort. And so they have to interact more, they have to get involved. And then of course, on the person themselves, it's important to get professional help, which means personal organizers, which in exurbs and suburbs might be a bit more hard to get connected with, and CBT trained therapists. So in the slide that I showed earlier, it did note that CBT is an excellent solution to helping people cope with these kinds of issues because therapy really helps them talk through why they feel these connections to items instead of people. And so finally, it's really about destigmatizing the issue and promoting autonomy, because if you come in and you intervene, it's patronizing. People need to take this on themselves and feel ready and want to do it. So, as a solution, I developed an app called Another's Treasure. So the main sort of thesis of this, the idea that people are starting to want to let go of their own items, they want to do it in a sustainable way. They don't necessarily know even how to get rid of the items, but you know, from a reusing standpoint, from a collection standpoint, they can advertise these items as after the process, which I will explain soon, and hence Another's Treasure. It could be picked up, it could be used by someone else. So let's have a look. So basically, it starts by itemizing all of the things in your house. You just like kind of move around throughout the day, you can take a photo of it, and you categorize and rate your items. So jump in and start. You use AI to generate narratives while algorithmically ranking your items. So let's sort. So it's essentially, the idea is to take inventory of the items and begin developing narratives around them with the help of AI, as I said earlier, and the app depends on these algorithms and a social network, and importantly, the ability to connect with professionals. So it's almost like a mixture between ChatGPT, BetterHelp, which I propose be infused with it so people can be easily connected to CBT-trained therapists, eBay, and a little bit of Tinder, just the way the algorithm works, which is, you know, how it goes. Swipe left, swipe right. And then finally, the important part of the social network is the addition of a forum that would connect the community all together so that you have a really open dialogue about this. So there's a workflow. I'm not gonna go through all of this. This is my crazy brain. But a general insight into decision factors that provide autonomy in solution finding. So it's really about using the app in a way that lets people make their own decisions and really decide based on what they find, how important an object might be to them. So you play, you swipe left or right, and essentially over time, you create rankings, you create these narratives. Some of these people, as I said earlier, are suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's, so they might not necessarily remember why an item is important to them, and then they let go of it, and they regret it, or they need it, and they don't have it anymore. So these assisted narratives, as they swipe through the items, are key to them understanding the importance of it from a more holistic way, from a more human way. But in addition, there will be other factors. There will be statistics. There will be estimated worths if they do decide to sell it. So I propose a frequency of use. So as they are just like going through their items, they're ranking how often they use them and when they use them, and the importance of that is then displayed on screen for them to be really readily visible, to be really available to them in a tangible way. And say they purchased this vase in 2005, estimated worth based on similar things found around the internet, you know, it might go up. It might be something that they could see as an investment and make money on. You know, a lot of retired seniors don't have enough income to really support their lives, you know, even with Social Security, even with governmental help. So it could be a way for the economy to generate and for them to create additional sources of income. So going to the integrated social media platform. So it's the ability to share progress, ask for advice on objects, and even offer things up for sale or for free on the forum so people can come pick them up, they could come interact with each other, and they could really just like get a sense of, you know, what the, you know, input, it's important. And additionally, the forum connects neighbors together and can generally be used as like a fun, fluid manner. So, you know, you could like host a barbecue. You could say that you're hosting a barbecue and people will come. And you could just say like, oh, I'm organizing this thing, you know, come out, help promote it, I'm going to City Hall, that kind of thing. So it helps younger generations also partake in the gig economy. So this is where it gets even more intergenerational. This is supposed to be a video, but it's not happening. But essentially, this is a part of the workflow that I was like showing you earlier, just a little segment of it, where you do decide to sell your item on eBay or, you know, through the app, and how do you get it out of your house? You're in the exurbs. Nobody's like, you know, shipping like Amazon the way that you can do it in the city. So it gets local youngins involved. You know, they have cars, and they can pick up the items, get a little bit of money themselves, and then that way it distributes these items and organizes the home and connects these generations. They're having interfacing conversations. They're face-to-face when they like actually deliver it, and it promotes just sort of this community, this like economy, etc. And importantly, all along the journey are little things to support because it is really difficult to go through this. That's why initially BetterHelp was a huge influence on this. You know, the therapy aspect, as you can see over here, but also just like little things, you know, as you're going through your feed, you know, Marie Kondo coming up, reminding you of the importance of a peaceful home over items. And, you know, you could include like little meditation aspects to it, you know, just to like help you calm down if you're freaking out. And it's really, once again, I wanted to emphasize community the whole way. People being proud of the projects that they have. People being excited about the events that they're hosting, really getting out there. And of course there are financial considerations because there always are. BetterHelp is expensive. You know, that mindfulness app, I'm forgetting what it's called, is priced. So it would take insurance, it would take Medicaid, it would take Medicare, it would take whatever form of insurance that you may have at the time. And you know, it would really understand where people are at and help them connect to resources, even potentially professional organizers. If we were really treating this as a mental health issue, could be subsidized by insurance and governmental support. So yeah, thank you.
All right. Hi, my name is Alessia Gallo. I'm a current undergrad junior majoring in interior design and also minoring in sustainable studies. This is actually just an AI generation I prompted up. And just a little introduction on my project, I wanted to focus on kind of the design aspect. How can we combine culinary libraries and create new spaces out of it utilizing older libraries? Also, before I begin, I would like to thank the design committee of AIA for organizing this event. Also all of the Pratt professors, architectures here coming to listen to everyone presenting. I would also like to thank Yuthaka for the countless hours preparing and emailing us and letting us know, you know, after school and before school hours. Also, most importantly, the peers, everyone here giving me great advice and inspiration on my design process. Okay, so I would like to start by asking, I would like you to raise your hand if you visited any local libraries within the past week. Okay, past month, past year. Interesting. Okay, so I would like you guys to keep this in mind and kind of think about why are these public libraries on the decline? You know, I looked into the crowd, I didn't see that many people raising their hands, so we could see why these libraries are, you know, what's the issue? Why is no one attending these libraries anymore? And so this is from some data that I found on the website, and I would like you to think about, you know, these facts that are given. So in this graph here, it mentions kind of from 2012 to 2016, the decline rate of the attendance of these libraries. You notice it's kind of going down over time. And also, especially during the pandemic, we noticed that you know, most Americans aren't attending these libraries due to kind of the safety, or, you know, we're in a digital world now. Everyone has access to this through their laptops and phones. So usually they don't find a need to attend these libraries anymore. But based on this data, I would like you to think about this as we're going on. And some reasons for decline. We see that there's a challenge to maintain relevance in this space. You know, you don't see kids, you know, after school going to libraries anymore. You know, we have tutors online. We have all of our digital resources given right to us at the comfort of our home. We also see people in a financial state struggling, especially to New York. You know, we've been having a hard time to fund these libraries, and you know, to all my New Yorkers here who have heard the news or have caught up with any of the things that are going on. Last year, Governor Eric Adams was proposing to budget cut these libraries, so that means, you know, hosting them for less hours, closing them on Sundays, and some people were outraged, but some people didn't care. They didn't find that there was a need for these libraries, but we could see how, you know, a lot of people are trying to defend this, and this is part of my design proposal, is to how could we revitalize and bring back these libraries to what they originally were. There's also kind of the lack of awareness in some areas, not realizing that, you know, there's a library right almost around every part of New York. There's some type of library, but people are struggling or finding the need to attend these libraries. And so shifting onto kind of a different topic, I would like you guys to either raise your hand if you feel like grocery prices are skyrocketing. Does a lot of your food or meals get wasted? Do you think there are food shortages in New York City? If you agree so, I want you guys to think about why is there the existence of food insecurity in New York City? We notice that there's a lot of food banks happening and a lot of kind of events giving out food. So how can we incorporate this idea into our design? So some facts here given by City Harvest shows that, you know, on an average monthly visit to New York City, food pantries and soup kitchens are up compared to pre-pandemic levels. So we see there is a higher need for food in a lot of families. We see that there's also a higher population in New York as it's increasing over time. So there's a higher demand. I've seen also just restaurants and stores, it's harder to just afford your basic food items without spending at least top $100 on some things, which is, it's quite outrageous, but it's also a big issue to accessibility in these foods. And we also see that nutritional value is very important, but we don't see places prioritizing this. You know, there's organic food that's much more compared to your cheap fast food. So a lot of people opt out and choose one of kind of the most non-healthy ways to sustain themselves. So continuing on, I listed a couple of reasons why, you know, there's such a food insecurity in New York City. So starting off, there's low income. A lot of people are getting unemployed or lay off. So this gives them trouble to afford their basic needs. And you see, you know, if you've ever passed in front of a food bank, you see there's lines of people with families and children waiting and trying to get what they could, you know, feed and put onto the table for their families. We also see the rising cost and inflation living in New York City and America, which I've also mentioned previously. Disability or age, there's older people who can't get out and access these foods or go to food banks and you know, purchase these foods. There's also natural disasters and global pandemics. So we've seen with COVID, there's more people in need of food. There's more homeless people outside in need of help. So, you know, that's why there's such this issue of food insecurity. And so for my design proposal, I would like to propose the concept of food libraries, which will be funded by New York State government, as well as any other organizations that sustain around food and education. So we could kind of redevelop and redesign the idea of libraries into kind of a culinary experience where people get to share their recipes, learn about certain foods and how to cook, while also being able to access their basic needs with a food pantry that is being provided in this actual space. And we see, like I had listed along the sides, part of the 17 goals of sustainability, which abide to zero hunger, so everyone will have access to food no matter what background you come from. Quality of education, so, you know, culinary arts is something that, you know, especially my generation struggle to kind of grasp onto. Like, you know, we're lucky if we could cook like an egg or something. So it's very valuable to get that education and learn how to cook and sustain yourself as a basic foundational need. Also, 9, the idea of innovation and infrastructure. You know, libraries are becoming a thing of the past, but how can we still keep them in our spaces without, you know, rebuilding them into entirely new buildings? How could we bring education back? And also reducing inequalities. There's some people who can't cook or not able to cook depending on age or disability. So we want to provide that to them as well through digital experiences. And so starting with where and who we're going to address this problem, I took inspiration from my studio project this semester, which is from the Walt Whitman Public Library, which is in the Fort Greene area community. And it was built in 1908. And just looking at the pictures and upon my first entrance of the library, you could tell it's pretty lackluster, very kind of depressing in a way. You know, I've passed around, we walked around, there's no one here. The only people you see in the pictures are actual students and professors who came to visit the place for itself. But you could see there's kind of a lack of programming, lack of navigation. You kind of feel lost because there's some places that are being renovated or they changed it into storage areas because, people are not coming there, so might as well use it for storage. But we could see that there's kind of this need to redesign and rethink what libraries should be today. And so thinking about the community there, how can we address their needs as they're coming to this library? So right across the street, we have the Stonewall Houses that is the largest LGBTQ elderly housing in America. And it's about 17 stories, but it would be great for them to get a culinary experience and be there and find a community that makes them feel accepted. Right next door, there's the Community Roots Charter School, which is a K-8 program. So you see a lot of kids coming there after school, and I've seen through reviews that they could be a little bit rowdy, a little loud, so addressing their needs while, still adhering to kind of the younger generation and what, their new learning experiences are today. And then right next the other side is the Walt Whitman Houses, which is part of the NYCHA housing, and it composes about a couple of acres of buildings. And considering the NYCHA crisis that's going on in New York City, we also notice that there's a struggle with many of the families there who don't have the best utility with kitchens and food. So a lot of these people are also potentially visiting food banks or struggling to put food on the table, so we want to provide and adhere to their needs as well. And so you're wondering who is eligible to take part and receive food. So you are all eligible, whether you're a volunteer, whether you are in need of food, whether you're a worker there, anyone is eligible for attending this food library and receiving food yourself. But there's also a few requirements that are also involved. So depending on financial income, age, disability, immigrant status, employment status, residency, it all plays into it. Just the idea how you think of food banks. Everyone is involved, and some people get more food than others, but it's still fair and equitable for everyone. And usually this is also AI generated with kind of an ID card. Instead of thinking of a library card, you will be giving a culinary card, which you could swipe and access throughout the whole premises of the food library, and you'll be able to access or rent out culinary utensils, take part into cooking events, and use this card to kind of create access into these spaces. And so I would like to start by proposing a few programs and design iterations that I use with the help of Midjourney and kind of my ideas on what's potentially needed to redesign these libraries. So starting with the first one, I wanted to create a recipe library database. And this will be kind of a comfortable environment where you first walk in and still kind of preserving the traditional idea of a library. I wanted to incorporate both digital and physical books that kind of give recipes, books, and kind of a sharing of different ethnical cuisines that people could interact with or lend out, which will be a great experience for people to learn. Or if they want to look up a potential recipe, they could access one of the kiosks and look, oh, how can I cook this recipe? Or if you want to share a recipe that's made from your family, you could also share it that way as well. And the benefits of this is kind of having an intergenerational bonding, as well as cultural exchange and promotion of diversity. So we see that it's kind of like almost a database, but in person, where you could share these recipes and ideas, and cultivating more nutritional recipes. So they'll have recommended recipes, or a week perhaps that has events or something. This week we'll be focusing on Chinese dishes. So it will be promoting all different kinds of ethnicities and diverse cuisines. And so for the second one, I would like to propose a community garden atrium, which people could gather and actually plant and produce produce there. So we could have planting involved, and people there will be having access to open air space and ventilation, which is pretty important in a lot of spaces that should be designed. And it also contributes to the local food production for the area, since we're looking for the best fresh food, and sometimes it's hard, especially in New York, for some areas to actually have a land to plant a lot of these things. So, within the library, we would have these planting atriums where they would have community gardens, and depending on the season, we could have different events according to the season. So harvesting for fall, planting for spring, winter, we have winter events, so it will be flexible all year round. And this also reduces stress and improves the memory and better physical health, and promotes responsibility for those of the younger generation and older as well. My third proposal is a communal workshop kitchen. And in this kitchen, it will kind of be like a way where people could sit down and view culinary kind of practices being evolved. I personally love watching people cook live in front of you, like hibachi restaurants. It's very therapeutic. It also makes you learn kind of the effort that's being put in to cook these things. And it's also an immersive experience as well, as people are, interacting with the place, and they can rent out utensils and with the swipe of their culinary card and be able to get a hands-on experience and work for themselves in this kitchen. And bringing back to what I previously said about the Walt Whitman houses, having an access to a kitchen is very important. So being able to use this kitchen and cook for themselves or for the friends, they can host a lot of events for each other, which proposes a very strong sense of community and education in these spaces. So for my fourth proposal, I would like to propose a donated food storage. So this will kind of be the heart of the food library, where a lot of the food donation is going on. So working with City Harvest and a lot of other fundraisers and foundations, we could, bring all these donated foods from churches to schools, from food drives into this space, and almost like a shopping center. You can kind of pick out and choose based on how much you're given and your finance struggles, exactly what food you could take home. So it's kind of like a shopping center instead of like one of those cold facilities that doesn't seem welcoming. It feels more like you're shopping and that, yes, I could, afford this food. So it also brings a sense of environment, and there will also be like fridges and storage systems that will be placed into this library as they're, fostering a sense of responsibility and picking out, the fresh produce possible, which is also being taken from the community gardens as well. And my final proposal will be a tech cooking hub. So also keeping in mind the people who are unable to cook, or, the younger generations. There's a lot of little children that might not, be able to touch sharp knives, or if you're really hazardous on them, getting their hands into the kitchen. We wanted to propose a tech cooking hub that will help both the older people and for the younger people to get more of a digital experience. I find it very popular through VR headsets, the idea of cooking simulations and creating a simulated environment, which will kind of, still keep them and feel included in this space and have the idea of educating and, cooking in a simulated way. And so there will be digital screens, and there will also be displays of, cooking tutorials and videos where people could sit down and watch it. And so there will be kind of private hubs where, a group can rent out and enjoy for the day. And so how will this help those who are aging and beyond? So we want to ensure that everyone has access to these foods, and that the needs are met for both old and younger people, and that all ages have the opportunity to learn, both in digital stimulated environments or hands-on experiences given to them with all of these opportunities. And it also rebuilds a sense of intergenerational community where, the younger could teach the older how to, handle these digital creations, or the other way around, if you're teaching your grandchildren how to cook. It's a very bonding experience, and it's something I think everyone here has experienced one way or the other. And it also adapts to both learning experiences, how we could bring, the digital experience of, the new learning process that we have today, along with the older ways of, the physical books and keeping track of older recipes and history from many families. And so these are my notable sources, and thank you.
Yeah. I'm not sure. So hi, my name is Marcela, and I'm just finished my undergraduate degree in architecture with a minor in interior design. And I'm here to talk about my project sensory accessibility. So in collaboration with my degree project partner Esther, which is also graduating from the same thing, we investigated what it meant for health and healthcare to be a public good. Research led us to the realization that in the US, health is not inherently considered one due to the disparities in access, exacerbated by the commodification of wellness, which often excludes marginalized communities from preventative healthcare and well-being practices, underscoring the urgent need for reevaluation.
The notion that the built environment and health share a direct correlation is true, particularly concerning collective well-being. However, architecture cannot directly influence individual health, considering that it is based on personal choices. Our project therefore focuses on collective health and developing collective conditions that promote and nurture inclusive, holistic wellness to create a health space that is actually more accessible to the public.
So the conditions that promote health encompass several key elements. The first condition is that it must be quotidian, that these health-promoting factors must be integrated into everyday spaces, ensuring accessibility and relevance in daily life. For this reason, we chose Port Authority Bus Terminal, a major transportation hub in Midtown Manhattan, as a test case site, considering that commuting is something that New Yorkers spend a significant amount of time doing.
It's regarded as one of the city's worst public spaces, neglected and sick, yet it led us to question how we can simultaneously make health more quotidian while also healing public space. The building configuration is outdated and inadequately accommodates peak directional demands, making it overcrowded, congested, and inefficient, which we saw on our many visits there. Pedestrian facilities also fall short as there is a lack of sufficient amenities, including the fact that not every bus gate is wheelchair accessible and there's poor ventilation and lighting. The lack of waiting and relaxation spaces contributes to an environment that can feel unwelcoming and stressful.
So people with physical disabilities face a lot of challenges when it comes to commuting, and this can have a lot of negative impacts on their health due to disorientation, discomfort, cleanliness, and many other things. So we asked ourselves how we can transform spaces related to commuting so that they have a positive impact on their health and can make circulation easier for them at the same time. This leads us to our second condition to promote health, which is the incorporation of biophilic design, leveraging nature's inherent benefits to enhance occupant well-being through direct and indirect connections to the natural environment. So in Port Authority, the circulation is the primary mode of occupation. Thus, we focus on enhancing it. So by incorporating biophilic design into circulation elements like an atrium, we begin to create healing environments in an everyday space, transforming wellness into an intrinsic component of the public domain. So this speculative animation reflects the prominent role that nature plays in health and healing, especially in urban settings like the city, which doesn't have much access to green spaces. So the effects of nature's qualities on health are not only spiritual and emotional, but also physical and neurological. This holistic manner of thinking about health makes nature the key element that people will turn to when the public hospital system does not provide the care and access they need.
So in Port Authority, we incorporated natural elements and living material inside the building and throughout circulatory routes. Regardless of any user's destination, they encounter at least 2 biophilic episodes, each designed to balance functionality and experiential engagement. This approach is reminiscent of the immersive sensory experiences that are found in Italian Renaissance gardens that allows users to derive health benefits simply by being surrounded by natural elements. The beauty of nature lies in the zero engagement level, whereby simply looking at and being surrounded by living material provides health benefits to user.
And this is just this is like a speculative section that we did of Port Authority where we only highlight our biophilic episodes within the building. And we went into depth of like circulation for daily commuters, which is the main user of the space, obviously, but also like the surrounding community of Port Authority, which could come to this space, like whether they're commuting or not, like it just becomes a place that actually serves the public. So a main focus was placed on circulatory elements that would make all levels of the bus terminal accessible. The first one being a lawn ramp, as we call it, that can take people directly from the subway level to the main level. So it's this over here. The second one, which is the largest sensory experience in the building, would be the waterfall paths in the main atrium. This gives people with disabilities the opportunity to move throughout all levels of the building on their own and allows them to immerse in the microclimate that is created by the cascading water. And these waterfall paths lead to the main like green space of the building, which is the rooftop garden, which is also very important. So considering natural elements like these is important in the design of the built environment because of the need to captivate the senses of users and strategically guide every aspect to enhance their perception and connection to spaces, fostering mental healing. In a similar way of Italian Renaissance gardens, sound and visual appearance of flowing water has great benefits to overall space experience. By designing inclusive commuter circulation and sensory experiences, we can make wellness more quotidian. So this is just a physical model we made of the atrium, and Port Authority was just a test case to place these conditions of health in the public realm, but they could potentially have the same impact on an individual if placed in other types of public spaces like museums or, I don't know, office buildings. So yeah, Port Authority was just a really good test case because of how sick the public is. But yeah, these are just some images of our model to show like the waterfall paths. And yeah, thank you for listening.